During a segment of my show a couple of months ago, I talked about how my favorite German restaurant of all time, located out here in Southern California, my favorite German restaurant was shutting down. But they made a note. I said, look, we don't think we're shutting down for good, but we definitely have to get things situated and see what the future holds. Now, the hint at the time was that they were waiting to see who would win the election. And ever since the election, I've been waiting to see if their Facebook page announces, hey, we're back, because I will be waiting in line to go see that. We are seeing movement in other restaurants as well. You know, if you recall, I know it seems so long ago, for the last couple of months, but if you recall, for the last 4 years, we've seen restaurants shutting down. There's been no expansion. No restaurants are like, hey, things are looking good. Let's go ahead and open up more restaurants. And you haven't seen new endeavors really popping up. Maybe here and there, little restaurants or whatever, but chains, no, not at all. Especially corporations, they have not been making moves in the restaurant industry for the past 4 years, unless those moves were to shut down, right? Well, that's changing, according to an article over at WJAT. Popular Mexican restaurants set to return 20 years after closing all locations. Hormel Foods, who owns the trademark to Chi-Chi's restaurant, and Chi-Chi's Mexican restaurant, they worked out a deal to bring them back to life after they closed every location and filed for bankruptcy back in 2004. The company initially closed its doors due to a foodborne illness outbreak that was linked back to them. Now, the son of the founder of Chi-Chi's, Michael McDermott, said in a release that he hopes to honor his family's legacy by combining the classic Mexican restaurant with modern influences. And of course, and no point in any press release or any interview or anything that could even be leaked to employees, let alone the public, would they ever say, hey, we'll make the decision based upon who wins the election. But let's face it, it's been a month since the election. Hormel is a big company. Whether they stated it explicitly or implied it or just kept it hush-hush between themselves, they knew that the decision to open a chain of Mexican restaurants in the United States of America, that the decision would be made based upon who won the election. Again, they won't say it. They would never admit it. You'd have to put some truth serum in them, put them under oath or something to get them to acknowledge it if it was even openly discussed. It could have very easily been assumed. They could have just said, hey, yeah, let's finalize this deal like sometime in November or December. How's that? Wink, wink, In other words, I would argue that if Kamala Harris had won, praise God that she didn't, but had Kamala Harris won, that we would not be sitting here excited and waiting for the next Chi-Chi's Mexican restaurant to open up at a location near us. You can find my channels, my articles, my socials at jdrucker.com/find. That's jdrucker.com/find.